So we started building a new house and a workshop. The terrain is about 700 square meters, which is 7,000 something square foot by 10, always multiply. This is the family house, and it will be built in three floors, the ground first and the second floor. On the bottom part it will be the garage and workshop, and top first floor will be the living space, living room, and then the second floor will be rooms. Altogether it's 350 square meters, and that's divided by two, so it would be two families that would live in one house, me and my brother basically. All the papers are done before this, so it was a long journey, 1 year before we actually started doing something on the house. For the first part, the building to the roof, we call it the rochbau, or the red build, because the bricks are red. It will cost around 130 to 150,000 euros. We started with the excavations for the foundations, and we are removing just the top layer around 30 centimeters for the slab. It will be excavated more for the foundations, and we need to prepare for that. So just flattening the terrain, scraping, we call this scraping. And forgive me about my English, I don't know all the terminology and everything that it's connected to the building, but I will try my best. So we are marking for the walls, concrete walls actually, that will carry the bricks, the building, and here we will excavate a little bit deeper, so there this will support the weight of the walls on top. The digging was quite difficult. We found some rock just in this corner of the building, but the clay was so hard and compressed together that they had to use the hammer to break the dirt, the clay, so they could dig through it. I even took a piece in my hand and I will show it to you, and it's amazing how the whole digger actually was lifting up while trying to hammer through this. So it's huge force, and it's very, very hard soil. It started raining. It was September. All the dates and times you will see in the video when we started doing, but the next day it was all dry, and you can see me excavating here. It was a lot of hard physical work to do this, even though I'm not many times on the camera, but I was doing all of the work behind the scenes. The next day the reinforcement bars came, the crew that bends and ties together the reinforcing for the concrete. We call this in Croatian the baskets, and they are put inside of the foundations. Quite heavy, and you have to jump the channels to carry them here, but they are placed inside. It's a tricky job, but it can be done with the crane also, but this is cheaper, so we did it like this. The next day, me and my brother took the grounding of the building, and we push it through the foundations. They connect to the rebar, and this is way better for the resistance of the thunders or something that could hit your house. So this is basically the grounding of the house. My brother connected the joints. It was a lot of work, like everything else. It includes a lot of work. It's incredible. The next day they came with the concrete. Sadly, I couldn't be there, so I didn't grab this, but they poured the concrete inside, and I just came in time when the concrete was still setting, and they put some rebars to tie together the carrying walls. They marked all with a string and with a chalk line, and you can see the concrete still bubbling. Now they're putting inside, while the concrete is fresh, still some anchors inside. The posts were added later. I didn't grab this either. But they're putting some anchors, and they will attach the mesh later to this when they put the form. Now the surveyors came for the second time. First time they used the mushroom, which is not so precise, but it didn't matter. But now they need high precision, and this is by few millimeters precise. And they mark the exterior walls and interior walls as well, the load-bearing walls to be exact. Now the form is a very interesting way to put it, and we use something called I wouldn't know to tell in English, but they're like razors and ties, it's called in Croatian. I literally translated, but this is the system. They have these hooks, and you put them on these little wooden strips, and they attach the form together so it doesn't move left to right. And you will see how they attach them with these ties in just a little bit, and they put the how is it? The wedge, yes, the wedge, the metal wedge that will connect the ties. But they also connect all of this form from the outside, and we reinforce it so it doesn't flip over when the concrete comes. They use the string here to check that the form is straight, because later the reference for the bricks will be this concrete wall. So it's of an essence that it's straight. Now they're attaching the rebar mesh to those posts that they nailed before when the concrete was fresh. And now they're finishing the form, and you can see now with the wedges they're putting inside from both sides. It attaches, and then with the hammer they just hit it and it tightens up and it holds the perfect form. It's wonderful technology of pouring the concrete. Then my father placed some styrofoam for the tubes, electrical, water and sewage, so we can dig them out later when the concrete hardens. It will be much easier than to demolish the concrete. Now the truck, the pump came with the concrete. This is fantastic technology that it's took for granted, because before that, or even today, some people they do everything by small mixer on the building site, and it takes tremendous amount of time and people. And here 5 people can make it. 2 people are on the vibration machine that makes the concrete grab the rebar very well and fill all of the voids, and 1 guy is on crane operating, of course, the pump, and the other guy in the back is flattening the walls to the nail line that they put inside. The ball went inside of the tube to clean it. I just got this a little bit. And the next day we took out the styrofoam and started putting the tubes inside. But we put it in a sand, which is good, but we had to take all of this out because we still need to backfill between those concrete walls for the first slab to come. And this needs to be compacted, so if we left the tubes like this, they would all be broken and it would be no good. So the electrical was installed. The next day we also installed for the water supply, and we took out all of the tubes, put them here by the side. You can see them on the bottom part of the screen. And we took all of the sand also outside of, well, most of it. You can see still the white lines of the fine sand, but we took most of it outside back, and we will reuse it. It was a hard day at work. The same day, the 20 cubic meter truck came with a rock, and this will be for the to support the slab. It needs to be spread and compacted. So I couldn't resist to climb on top of this mountain of rock. It's huge, and this is only one part. We had another truck also came after this one. The excavator accommodated it all. This guy was a master. And then even a few more trucks, I think like 2 or 3 of them came. And then we compacted with this beast, was 650 kilos. So it's a huge vibrating machine, and really compacted this soil very, very well. We also wetted a little bit so it compacts better. We did this till the late hours because the next day the finer gravel was coming for the just under the slab, so it fills up the remaining holes. And I was so tired this day. We worked until 10 o'clock in the evening, starting 7 a.m. So yeah, it's a long day. I had a beer after that. And the next day also we repeated the process in the morning one more time, just before the gravel came. But before all of that, before the gravel can come, we have to redig again for the sewage. So now that we compacted, we are redigging back. But this is the proper way to do it, because now the pipes cannot be damaged. We will dig the channels. Yes, it will uncompact a little bit, but we will put it back and compact it again, but not that hard as with a huge machine. So this was really a lot of work, but at the end you finish with a sewage that no one will ever see, but it works down there. So yeah, it was all put inside, and then the fine gravel came, and now we were actually resting, watching the digger do its job. It was so hot outside. It was September, but you can see we are all in shorts with the hats, and we were all sunburned by this point. And we were laughing about my cousin because we put him a Mexican hat and with a cigarette in his mouth. You know, he's a master. So he did a good job of that. And then we also, with the vibration again, we compacted this gravel layer, and it stays flat with the concrete walls, or just a little bit under the concrete floors. The next day the mesh came, and they cut around the sewage pipes so it can fit nice. And this is the preparation for the slab. They tie the mesh together so it's always in the same level when the concrete comes. And we also hid the line on the form, so we know where the concrete will come. You can see the nails in those in that line. because when the concrete comes and splashes, it will hide the line, so it will be hard to know where the concrete has to stay up until which line. So the nails make a hard line. You can feel the stop when you're putting the concrete in. We put some posts, you can see them in orange here. This is also the height of the concrete that has to be. And we were watering this all day long and the night, and in the morning also. You can see a lot of water is inside. This is not rain, we actually watered it, so when the concrete comes, it will not, the soil or the gravel will not absorb the water from the concrete, because otherwise it could crack. It would crack probably, most probably, but this is how you prevent that. And you also need to water the concrete later. Last minute works. When the pump came, we need to lower the terrace on the back by 10 centimeters, because it's a lower part of the building, it's the exterior. And then the concrete came. You can see them spreading the concrete, and then the master of the construction, the big guy on the right, is explaining to the new guy how it's supposed to be done. So we were laughing a little bit about this, but yeah, it's you don't know everything. You need to space to learn and to. It's nice to see. We learned many stuff here. Okay, he's lifting up the rebar, so the concrete goes underneath, and it creates this layer of protection, we call it, and it has to be 2 to 3 centimeters. You don't want your rebar standing on the floor and, well, subject to the water, because it will rust, and the biggest enemy of the reinforced concrete is the rust. You could see those nails just sticking. I took the little snap of it, so you can see them just at the surface of the concrete. The pour was done quickly, like always. The concrete is the fastest job, but everything leading up to that moment takes a long time. So preparation here, it's 95% of the time, maybe 99% of the time, I would say. This slab was done like in just over 2 hours, I think. There is a machine, a little triangle of wood that makes the slab flat. Really cool, and it takes a lot of knowledge to do this. It looks easy, but it's not. And here is the slab finished. I put the timestamp also, so you can see how long it took approximately. We watered it all day long. This day, the night, the next morning was watered all the time, because otherwise it would crack. It was so hot outside, even though it was September or October by the end. The slab is over here. The next step is the isolation, and you will see that in the next video. I hope you like this episode. It was a little bit slower pace and longer, but I want to thank all of you for watching to the end, and to my Patreons for supporting my channel. Thank you so much, and see you next time. Bye bye.